This is the download from Sounds Profitable, the most important news from this week and why it matters to people in the business of podcasting. I'm Manuela Bedoya.
And I'm Shreya Sharma.
The download is brought to you by Magellan AI. Track the trends in spend, ad load, podcasts on YouTube, and more with Magellan AI's advertising benchmark report for Q2. Available now. You can find a link in the description or visit magellan.ai.
This week, study finds audio ads outperform video on brand recall, ad spending seems to be picking back up, and Edison launches the Kids Podcast Report. Let's get started.
This Tuesday, Ad Age writer Jack Neff covered a new study on audio advertising by attention research firm Lumen. The study was commissioned by Dentsu and involves participation from Amazon Ads, Odyssey, Cumulus Media, iHeartMedia, Spotify, and SXM Media. The research is part of the Dentsu Attention Economy Project, which has been running for 5 years. From the article, quote, among the findings were that 41% of audio ads generated correct brand recall in follow-up surveys, compared to a 38% norm for other advertising, mostly video in Dentsu's database. The average impact on brand choice metrics was a positive 10% for audio versus a 6% norm in Dentsu's database for other ads. Audio advertising produced average attentive seconds of 10,126 per thousand impressions, more than 50% higher than the norms of 6,501 in Dentsu's database of prior studies. End quote. Podcasts command listener attention for more seconds per thousand impressions than Dentsu's benchmarks for TV, digital, and social media. Ads read by podcast hosts had better performance influencing brand preference than ads produced for radio.
From DigiDay's Seb Joseph last Friday, the ad slowdown prophesied at the end of last year appears to be waning, as ad dollars are making a comeback. As Q2 numbers are posted by the usual suspects, big names like Google and Meta are showing ad revenue increases. Google got a 3.3% boost to $58.1 billion in the last quarter. Meta reports $31.5 billion for the same period. Here's a quote from Joseph's article. While ad spending may pick up in the second half of the year, according to forecasts from companies like Unilever, Coca-Cola, and Procter & Gamble, the extent of this resurgence may vary across different markets, favoring certain regions like the US over others like Europe. And even when those dollars do increase, they're going to be diversified across multiple platforms, benefiting some media owners more than others. Simply put, the days of unrestricted ad spending are long gone. Digital advertising is now a mature, slower growth market, much like the rest of the ad market it defied for years. End quote. While good news, the era of unrestricted ad spend is likely at an end, with an onus on marketers to be more evidence-based in their spending decisions. Luckily, podcasting's health and growing measurement capabilities are primed to provide evidence that podcasts are a good bet for ad dollars.
New from Edison Research, the Kids Podcast Listener Report. Posted last Thursday, the report is built from an online survey of 1,272 parents of kids aged 6 to 12 years old. A parent-administered version of the survey that received 245 responses, and in-home interviews with families who listen to podcasts. Among the findings, 46% of kids in that age range have listened to a podcast at least once. 29% of children surveyed listen to podcasts at least monthly. And they're engaging with the medium. 87% of kid respondents say they shared something they learned in a podcast with other people. 25% of parents say their kids listen to podcasts nearly every day. There's also a strong representation of co-listening, with 68% of parents of kids who listen to podcasts at least monthly reporting their children listen to podcasts with at least one parent, while 54% listen with siblings. 73% of parents say podcasts make family car rides more fun. As has been covered in the download multiple times in the past, kid-friendly podcasts are on the rise, growing in popularity both with listeners and advertisers. Just this week, fiction podcast company Realm announced the acquisition of Pinna, as well as advertising partnerships with Rebel Girls and Go Kid Go. The kid and family genre continues to be a hot commodity.
Finally, it's time for our semi-regular roundup of articles known as Quick Hits. These are articles that didn't quite make the cut for today's episode, but are still worth including in your weekend reading. First up, introducing The Download by Brian Barletta. The Download is now a daily podcast covering news important to the business of podcasting Monday through Thursday, with the usual weekly recap continuing on Fridays. NAVA posts info for SAG-AFTRA strike. The National Association of Voice Actors has released a one-sheet clarifying what types of work NAVA actors can or cannot do during the SAG-AFTRA strike. SiriusXM is betting big on its next-gen app by Amrita Khalid. The much-teased new SiriusXM app is set to debut this fall and was brought up during the recent Q2 earnings call. WPP and Spotify announced first-of-its-kind global partnership. British communications and advertising holding company WPP is now in a global strategic partnership with Spotify to give its clients access to Spotify's ad product and scaling capabilities.
And that was The Download, brought to you by Sounds Profitable. Today's episode was built using Spooler and hosted on Art19. Find out more at spooler.fm and art19.com. I know we went through today's stories fast, so be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or on soundsprofitable.com/podcast. And thank you for sticking with us as we bring you the top stories you might have missed from the past week. I'm Manuela Bedoya.
And I'm Shreya Sharma. Our producers are Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and Tom Webster. Special thanks to Art19 for hosting The Download. And thanks to you for joining us. Robot?
Download complete.